And my granddaughter, who's playing college sports, I asked her about this when we had this 2 years ago, and she said, you know what? If a trans woman was competing against me in the sport, then that just means if that person's better than me, I need to work harder. The best we got was, well, some parents are concerned that their daughter might miss out on a scholarship. They might miss out on playing for this team or that team. Boy, that doesn't sound like community. That sounds like selfishness. I'm sorry to label it that way, but that sounds like what it is to me. I'm only worried about myself. I'm not worried about building the team and having my school have a powerful team.
All right, guys, so we got to talk about the Democrats. And in this video right here, the disconnect from basic reality is strong. The reason why is because Democrats seem to forget the basic biological differences between men and women when it comes to sports, the advantages that boys have over girls when it comes to sports, as they're going to melt down over the GOP passing laws to protect women's sports in Wisconsin. There was a General Assembly session, and Republicans stepped forward to, again, protect women's sports, and Democrats boohoo, whine, and cried about it, okay? And there was one particular Democrat that made a couple arguments that I showed you guys at the beginning of this video that I just think are just not grounded in reality. The first one, which is that women just have to work harder, right? If a woman can't beat a man in a sport, they just need to work harder, okay? And the second argument is that, well, if a girl loses out on a scholarship to a biological male, then too bad, so sad, right? You just cry about it. Again, these are the people that claim to care about women and women's emotional health and their feelings. But at every chance they get, they basically prove that they really don't care about women. Take a look.
Far from the pools and playing fields, a debate over fairness in women's sports hits the floor of the Wisconsin Assembly.
This bill is not about hate. This bill is about allowing women to have the opportunity to compete.
The mere introduction of policy to separate children based on their identity is inherently disrespectful. The evidence is clear, Mr. Speaker. State legislative bodies across the nation have pushed over 500 bills targeting the LGBTQ community, especially transgender and non-binary individuals. These bills, Mr. Speaker, are not only targeting sports and school athletics, but encroaching on people's basic human rights. And it's important for us all to remember that even if these bills fail to become law, which they will fail to become law because thank you to Governor Evers, who was already committed to vetoing them, just the introduction of them, just the discussion and the introduction of them is inherently harmful and life-threatening to LGBTQ plus individuals. Yes, life-threatening, folks.
The two bills introduced by Republicans place new restrictions on who can play sports for teams at public schools, private schools in the parental choice program, UW schools, and technical colleges, saying athletes can only play for teams that match their sex determined at birth. Republicans say this protects opportunity in women's sports.
This is not so much about who is right, who's wrong. This is about safety. This is about being fair. And this is about if I'm on the girls' soccer team, I'd like to score a goal once in a while.
Meanwhile, Democrats argue it's discrimination toward the LGBTQ community.
If a trans woman was competing against me in the sport, then that just means if that person's better than me, I need to work harder.
Still, both bills passed on a party vote. The debate surrounding them is far from over.
Yeah, so you're saying that, you heard that, okay? You're saying that, you heard that, okay? This is what Democrats are arguing in favor of discriminating against women in sports, right? What they're arguing is, one, that if you are a biological woman and you can't beat a biological male who has a significant athletic advantage over you because of basic biology, which is something that Democrats don't seem to understand, then you need to work harder, right? You need to work harder. As if a girl, the average woman, could work hard enough to beat the average man in sports and consistently beat that man, especially if the man is working equally as hard. Okay. It's not possible, right? It's not a thing. Okay. And also that Democrat, the man that said that, he was a coach. Okay. So again, this guy was probably the worst coach ever, right? If he really believes the things he believes. And in his speech, he essentially cited one girl that beat guys at his school or whatever as evidence that, hey, well, if you work hard enough as a girl, you can beat the guys, right? Again, it's ridiculous, okay? It's so ridiculous. And then this guy argues that, well, you're selfish, right? If you are a girl and you don't want to compete against males, or you don't want a spot taken away from you because you have an unfair disadvantage against a biological male, or have scholarships and opportunities taken away against you, then again, you're selfish, right? You're selfish. But again, if you were to say that they're selfish, which in my opinion, I do think that they're the ones that are selfish, that would be a form of hate and bigotry, right? That's a form of hate and bigotry, because Democrats see just having a debate on this issue, period, as hate and bigotry and inherently harmful. Did you hear the Democrat there, the woman on the floor, who literally said, well, just having a debate on, just talking about this subject is harmful. Again, that is how fascist the Democrat Party has gotten, right? They're literally saying just having a debate about whether or not it's fair for biological girls to compete against biological boys in sports is harmful to the LGBTQ community. How ridiculous is that? These people think a debate, it's a debate about basic biology is harmful. That's how far gone the Democrat Party is, right? It's amazing stuff. And again, these are the same people who want to boo-hoo, whine, and complain about Republican legislative priorities, right? Well, why don't Republicans do other things? Why do they focus on other things besides this? Well, we can't focus on other things because you guys are pushing this type of stuff in schools, right? So when you push for biological males to compete against biological girls in sports, then yes, Republicans do need to take time to fix the issue, because that is an important issue. When you push for kids to talk to teachers about sex and gender and woke ideology in school, then yes, Republicans do need to take time in order to fix it. Because if they don't fix it and it gets out of control, that hurts the party in the long run, because woke indoctrination is also Democratic indoctrination, right? Indoctrinating kids in Democrat propaganda and ideology. That's what it's about. This is why they push it so much. Because it's about making kids as liberal and as woke as possible so that they perpetually vote Democrat. They don't know a damn thing. They're not learning a damn thing in school, because the more dependent that these kids are, again, the more they're going to vote for Democrat and liberal policies that keep them dependent. So yes, Republicans do have to step up and to spend time on this stuff, because again, this is about the future of the country. So again, while Democrats are denying basic reality in biology, you have stories like this, where trans cyclists are taking gold and silver medals, first and second place in Chicago's women's races. So let's read about this, because again, this is exactly what we're talking about here. 2 transgender cyclists took home gold and silver at a women's cycling event in Chicago, sparking fresh controversy as only one biological female made the podium. Tessa Johnson, 25, won first place in the women's single, speed, and cat half categories at the Chicago Cyclocross Cup on October 7th, while Evelyn Williamson, 30, placed second in the single speed contest. Their efforts left only one biological female on the podium for the single speed race, Allison Zamunda. For her success in the women's cat half, Johnson won $150 and Williamson won $75 in prize money for placing fourth. Records show Williamson has been racing in the women's category at least since 2017, earning 18 titles. Yeah. So again, what you have here, right, is the future of women's sport, right? This is the future of women's sports, okay, where you have, you know, people who are not biological females winning because they have an advantage, right? They have an advantage that's not easy for women to overcome, okay? And you see the result of that, okay? The result of that is that women lose out on opportunities and they can't fairly compete. It's really that simple. It really is. But again, if you listen to, you know, Democrats in Wisconsin, this woman right here, she just got to work harder, right? She ain't working hard enough. And if she complains about it, she's selfish, okay? I mean, she seems pretty happy, so maybe she's woke, maybe she's cool with it. But, you know, again, this is not fair. It's not right. I think trans people should compete amongst themselves in their own categories, and I think that's fair. But again, it is videos like these, it is legislative sessions like these that really do show you how far left the Democrat Party has become. They're at a point where they are chastising and calling women selfish for simply wanting opportunities, wanting scholarships, wanting a fair shake at sports, and just opportunities that have been traditionally granted to women in general, right? Fighting against having that taken away from them apparently is selfish. But again, they never call their side of the aisle selfish for trying to capitulate to a very, very, very small portion of individuals who just could easily compete based off biological sex or compete amongst themselves, right? Those people aren't selfish for compromising, okay, or in a way that is easiest for everybody else. But the girls, the biological females and girls that don't want to compromise, who say, look, I don't want to compete against biological male, you're selfish. It's amazing stuff. Let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.